full-scale attack. Can he hold them back? This is a dangerous place. The city's a waste. The battlefields epic. Both sides are full of pride. With nuclear eyes and death rays electric. This is destructive. We have seen this in the past. But as it turns out, it's an advantage that he has. Save the wizard, he will get there. The air has gotten thick. Broken glass and steel and brick. The aliens are no more. Hear Godzilla's mighty roar. And so the battle was won, and when it was done, he retreated to the ocean. And if forever attack, the bag will be back. At least that's all I'm hoping. This sea is destructive, partly from dark and triggered. But as it turns out, you know it could have been much worse. Save the wizard, he will save the earth.
Hey guys, welcome back to the BroBryceHealth channel live stream here. I'm trying to get the live chat going here, and that is not happening so far. It's going to be tricky, but welcome back to the chat, and I'm hoping that I can get the live chat feed feeding into the actual video right here. Because this is going to be playing back on YouTube later, as well as here on Facebook. But welcome to our live Saturday 4 p.m. Keto chat. I am Bryce L. Tomlinson, as some of you guys know, and this is the BroBryce Health Group, and this is our live keto chat. So the focus of this chat Saturdays is always it's open conversation, check-ins, progress. And if any of you guys are applying keto or any other dietary approach to your health journey, you're welcome to check in, chime in, and ask any questions, provide any input. You're welcome to chat amongst each other as well, and I will chime into your conversations. I will be later on this hour giving away one of 4 books, and you guys, whoever it is, if you are in the continental U.S., I will be happy to ship you a copy of any one of these 4 books. And I will tell you how to do that later on this hour. And I'm going to be here for 1 hour, and then I'm going to join Tony Thomas over there on the Old Nerd Reviews channel on YouTube. I'm doing the stream here on Facebook because Facebook seems to be behaving better with my internet connection. So I'm hoping that you guys are getting this stream smoothly. Please make sure over in the comments section that you are letting me know, say hi, letting me know who you are, where you're at, and if there's any check-ins that you guys would like to do, please chime in at any time. I see Rio Anderson is here. I see Tony Thomas is here. Randall Schwartz. We met up in Portland. And Kevin Castiles and Robin Powell have joined. So hello, guys. and make sure that you let me know where you guys are located on the planet, and we'll say hello to you, your end of the woods. I am using XSplit Broadcaster. Thank you, Tony Thomas. I won a little trivia contest thing on his YouTube channel and got a free 3-month license to XSplit. So I'm giving this a try. Trying to get my chat window open, though. That was that little thing over there. I would like to get that working. Anyway, guys, my progress is that for the last 2 weeks before this week, I went off the bacon experiment. I finished up the bacon experiment. And hello to Australia. Robin Powell is in Australia. That is so cool. It's like the other end of the world. And it's got to be something like 4, 5, or 6 a.m. over there, right? Jeff Hogue just joined us. Welcome, Jeff. So this week, I think it was last weekend, the family here decided to do the bacon experiment again. I spent about 2 weeks off of the bacon experiment, and I basically did lazy keto. You know, as some of you guys know, I don't have any food in my house that's not keto compliant. I am not a big fan of any kind of products or anything like that. So I don't have anything that would per se throw me out of keto in any way. And but I may have overindulged in a couple of things. And I know that we had our turkey dinner for Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving. And I had a I had a pumpkin cheesecake that I made from scratch. And if you guys would like the recipe, I will be happy to post it in the description down below. It's a very easy recipe, but it's a little tedious to make. But I can hardly cook my way out of a paper bag. So if I can make a cheesecake and it's awesome, then hey, you can make a cheesecake probably. So for Thanksgiving, we had this wonderful dinner. I had a great keto stuffing from Caveman Keto. Has a ridiculously great recipe for keto stuffing. And it was absolutely wonderful. Very low carb, very high fat, and it nailed Thanksgiving stuffing. So I gotta hand it to Mr. Caveman Keto over there. And I have my own recipe for the cheesecake, which again I'll put in the description if you guys want. And then we had cauliflower mash with double and cheese and cream cheese and garlic and bacon grease, and it was paradise. I made the turkey in the air fryer with a wonderful mayonnaise, egg wash, and pork rind crust. So it was fantastic, and I wish I cooked it a little more, but I vacuum sealed the other half of the turkey breast so that we can fix it on Thanksgiving. So that's going to be awesome. Next, let's see, what else did we have? We had broccoli. We had creamed broccoli on the side. That was great. And anyway, what did you guys have for Thanksgiving dinner? If you're doing keto, or did you go off the rails on Thanksgiving? Because a lot of people just fall apart on Thanksgiving and they don't care. It's fine. But if and did you like have trouble getting back on the rails afterward if you did go off the rails? A lot of people do that. I got a friend of mine started doing keto, and he's just barely started, and he's going through tough times trying to stay on track. But I think he's sad because of some of the foods that he misses. But with that, anyway, so for 2 weeks we went off of the bacon. I went off the bacon experiment. So I did it for full 30 days. I lost 16 pounds. I lost 30 points off my blood pressure, and lost about 5.5 inches overall. I still have a little bit of belly fat that I would like to lose. So I'm doing the bacon experiment again. And this time my wife and my mother-in-law are joining me. So they have been eating 1.5 pounds of bacon each every day and nothing else. Taking some electrolytes to supplement. Welcome, Jim Drew. Long time no see. And Rhino Privich. Welcome, you guys. And Sam Miller joined. Let me know where you guys are located. Mary Brule, welcome to the broadcast. And you're welcome to let me know where you're at, where you're located on the planet. And we'll send a big greeting to you in wherever you're located. And this broadcast is all about letting, like it says right over there, let food be thy medicine. I have healed my chronic pain. I have healed my obesity. I have healed my eczema, my rosacea, various ailments in my body. I don't really suffer from these things because I eat a very low carb, high fat diet, and I lost 111 pounds. Welcome, Michelle McPherson. Excellent. You're over there in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Jim. Wow, that's a little ways away from Portland, isn't it? Anyway, Jim Drew and me go way back to a long time ago. But it's very cool to see you in here. Michelle McPherson, good to see you in here. We went to church together. We have 4 books that we're going to give away later this hour, and I'll give details on how that's going to happen and what the books are in a little bit. I'm going to finish checking in. You guys can check in. Tell me what kind of dietary approach you're doing, what kind of progress you're experiencing, what kind of exercises you're doing. Ask any kind of questions about low carb, high fat, or keto. I do often say to people, bring your science, because I have science. I do study the science on low carb, high fat. I spend a lot of time reading studies and checking out lectures on the subject of low carb, high fat science. So I have educated myself. If you guys would like to ask questions, I am not a doctor. I cannot give medical advice, but I can tell you what a lot of doctors say. Okay. So for my check-in, I gained, I think, about 6 pounds of water weight during that 2 weeks of lazy keto, where I wasn't tracking anything. I wasn't keeping track of anything. I was basically just eating whatever I wanted, and whatever I want is defined in my house as just keto food. I don't go off the rails. I don't suddenly decide I'm going to have a cheat day and go out and get a cherry cheese Danish. I just don't do that. That would be like my kryptonite, but I just don't do it. And I did have a tough time this last week. I've been stocking the candy aisle at the store where I work, and I got to tell you, I look at the candy, and you're taking these big. I work in a warehouse store, so it's like these big case boxes of Baby Ruths and Butterfingers and things like that. These are not things that I ever eat anymore. Not ever. I don't even. It's difficult for me to fathom what the experience would be like eating a candy bar like that. I do eat like 90% dark chocolate, but here I am, like in front of these Butterfingers and Baby Ruths and Snicker bars and these, those big box store buckets of Red Vines, Now, there once was a day when there would be like a mountain of this stuff in front of me, and there would be a me-shaped hole from one side to the other, from me eating my way from one side of it to the other. So that was my old life, and I am not interested in going back. I remember what it was like to be that sick, in pain all the time. Some of you know I used to wear night splints on both feet and both hands at night, and sometimes during the day. And there was a time when I walked with 2 canes. I got up to 285 pounds, and many of you guys remember me when I was that heavy. And but I got down to about I got down to like 182, and then I gained some of that back a little bit doing lazy keto. I ended up hovering around 200 pounds, and then I started working at this store, and I got down to 190, and then doing the bacon experiment, I got down to 174. And that was what I had long determined to be my goal weight. And so during that 2 weeks of lazy keto, I got back up to 180, and I stayed there, 180, 179, 177, 180. And then as soon as I started the bacon experiment, I lost 3 pounds in the first day. I lost 3 more pounds in a couple more days. So it's been almost a week. Tomorrow will be day 7. And I lost 6 pounds in that amount of time. I'm going to say that most of that is water weight. So that seems to be an indication to me. Water weight is typically caused from inflammation, as I understand it. And so if you are shedding water weight, that means that's important for another reason. And that means that you're losing some inflammation. And for me, inflammation is the thing that exacerbates all of my chronic pain issues. So if I am more inflamed, I'm going to feel the pain from all of the stupid things that I did when I was younger. I do believe that, we're supposed to, we get hurt, we live life, we get hurt, and then we're supposed to heal. And we're not supposed to, I don't think we're supposed to suffer with all of those things forever. But I think that it's important to know what causes you to suffer with those things for a long time. And I don't think that it's just age. I think that it is inflammation, and there is a way to stave off inflammation. And I have managed to do that pretty successfully in my life. Matter of fact, just yesterday, I participated in a Liverpool, UK study on the long-term effects of ketogenic nutrition. So I'm very excited to have been able to participate in that. If you guys need any information on who to contact to participate in that, I believe it's still going on. So you may be able to set up an appointment to do a Skype call with this person. Seth, yes, you remember when I was that big, and you remember that people used to sit down and lecture me on the way that I was eating to try to change my life at that time. And when that change started happening, a lot of those people were already not in the picture. So they didn't get to witness what happens when you succeed in applying a low carb, high fat approach to your diet. See, for instance, for the last week, or for the last 6 days, Julie and her mother and I have all been just eating pork. Julie and her mom are just eating pork belly and bacon, a pound and a half each a day, and nothing else. And I am eating a pound and a half of pork loin, because I work a job that's very strenuous. I need some higher protein. And if I ate bacon to get that protein macro up there, then I would be way over on my calories. So I don't have to track macros all the time, but I do find that I am the most successful when I am tracking my macros. Hey, Dave Rosenboom, welcome to the program this week. I'm glad to see so many people in this week. Very, very inspiring. Seth says, inflammation is my problem also. Did you have problems such as tingling and heat flashes? Absolutely. I totally did. I felt like my legs were on fire sometimes, especially my legs. My hands at times would have tingling and burning and dull aching. I found that keto was this is actually the most important thing. I mean, you guys see that I'm like skinny now. That's like the easy thing to show you guys. But the thing that is the most important part for me is the lack of chronic pain, the lack of edema in my legs, the lack of the flaming hot, unexplainable, what they call fibromyalgia. I was diagnosed in 2014 with fibromyalgia, which if you guys know anything about fibromyalgia, it's not much of a diagnosis. It's like, we don't know what you have. You hurt a lot. We think it's because of overactive nerve endings. Duh. So what is that caused by? Guess what? It's caused by inflammation. Get rid of the inflammation, get rid of that. So easiest way to get rid of inflammation, there are several factors that go into inflammation. So one of them would be stress. That's obvious. That's going to be inflammatory. You can feel yourself getting inflamed. Another one would be smoking. Okay. If you smoke, it is inflammatory. It causes your body to react and get inflamed. It can be it's a giant factor in the health industry for inflammation. Okay. And if you know anything about cancer, cancer is basically caused by inflammation, and it is fed by glucose, and it is caused by inflammation, triggered by inflammation at the very least. It may be caused by contaminants and triggered by inflammation, but it's triggered by inflammation at the very least, and it's fed by glucose. So you can eliminate two things. You can lower your risk for cancer and lower your inflammation by eliminating glucose out of your diet, because glucose causes your insulin to be elevated. Insulin in your blood all the time causes two things: causes inflammation, and it also causes you to store fat. So the more insulin you have in your blood, the longer time you spend storing fat. And if you become insulin resistant because of overexposure to insulin all the time, then you begin to probably pack on some weight, and you are constantly inflamed because it takes forever for that insulin to ever move any kind of glucose out of the bloodstream. So Seth says, this is a blessed and perfect timing for me. And you said legs and hands for you also. That is something that was super important to me. It was the most important thing to me. The weight is, like I said, it's very easy to show, but I can't show you me. I mean, I can't just demonstrate me not walking with the canes and me not wearing the night splints on my hands and my feet. You just don't see that because I'm not. But what you can see is my before and after pictures that are like freaky. So I show those to people to get their attention, but the fact is that's not the most amazing thing for me. Getting rid of the inflammation is the big giant thing for me. As you see on my cheek over here, I used to have a huge patch of rosacea, and that is almost completely faded. That's an example of getting rid of inflammation. If I get sick, I don't stay sick for long periods of time. If I do, man, it's got to be something like a mold outbreak or something crazy. If I get a cold, that cold is generally gone by that afternoon or the next afternoon. It's generally history. I had the flu one day for like 12 hours, and then that was it. And I do get, I get the bug, but I kick its ass. So that's what I'm going to do, right? I want to real quick talk about the books that I'm going to give away. So any of you guys can chime in at any point when I tell you to. And if you're in the U.S., I will mail this to you free of charge. All of these are thrift store finds. They may have some notes somebody wrote in there or some drawings or whatever. But for the most part, I've tried to screen them. They seem to be in pretty good shape, actually pretty darn good shape. But I will mail these to you free of charge. So first one that I have is Why We Get Fat. And this book actually has in it, in the appendix back here, the actual food list and the basic instructions that I include in the pinned post to this group, the BroBryceHealth group that you find on Facebook. So if you look at the pinned post, there's a link to the actual food list and diet plan. And this book is invaluable. Gary Taubes is a very talented science writer, very famous, and there are plenty of lectures by Gary Taubes. And I think I have one or two of his videos on the playlist as well, on the DVD playlist. So if you guys check out the pinned post, both the playlist and the food list are available for free right there. So you can have either one of these. This is the pocket edition, and this is the regular paperback edition. Both of these I found at Facebook, or I found in thrift stores. And but I will mail either one of these to you. Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It by Gary Taubes. Or you can have Wheat Belly by William Davis, MD. It's a very interesting book about why you shouldn't eat grain, why grain has really never been good for you. And I would say, you know, always be a critical thinker, okay? Especially about your own opinions, and don't jump to too many conclusions. There have been questions about whether wheat today is actually different from ancient wheat, you know, from ancient times. So always think critically and analyze things for yourself. But this is a great book with some great information about why you shouldn't eat wheat. Now, I don't eat wheat. I don't eat grain. I don't have any starches in, at least any starch-rich foods in my diet. I don't eat grains of any kind. I don't eat oat. I don't eat corn. I don't eat rice. I don't eat wheat. Those are, you know, I don't quinoa. I don't eat ancient grains. I don't make exceptions for ancient grains. I'm not paleo. I'm keto. And I'm totally grain-free. So Wheat Belly by William Davis, I'll send that to you free of charge. If you want to check back again later this hour, I will tell you when. And then The New Atkins for a New You. And this book is by Eric Westman, MD, Stephen D. Finney, MD, and Jeff Bullock, PhD. All these guys are extremely high authorities on Atkins and as well on keto. Now, I would say that Atkins is not necessarily keto. I do believe that Dr. Atkins was leaning toward a ketogenic approach, but my opinion is that the Atkins diet itself is typically considered to be more high protein and less focused on it being high fat. And I am very pro high fat, something, you know, anywhere between 70 and 85% fat. I have no problem with that. And I don't think Atkins was really all that much of a super fat proponent, but you know, I kind of am. But the other caveat that I would put on this book is that they talk about reintroducing whole grains, and I'm not for that. And if you can get past that, and you can get past the idea that they talk about the Atkins Advantage and the Atkins products quite a bit in Atkins books, the Atkins Corporation is a different thing. Now, what you should know is that Eric Westman does not work for Atkins. Stephen Finney does not work for Atkins. And Jeff Bullock none of these guys work for Atkins. So you need to know that they are legit keto authorities, and they're definitely go-to people. The book does have a lot of great, useful information, and you should, like I said, think critically when you read these books. Seth says, the pain is the worst. Seems like I have to lay around in pain and sleep a lot to kill it. Yep, that was me. And you saw me kind of in the middle of that, like especially like when I had my appendix out in 2012. I'm convinced that if I had been doing keto all that time, especially the approach that I do, I try to be kind to my gut biome. And as anybody who knows anything about the appendix knows that it is like at the center of your gut biome. It is basically the beaker at the end of your gut biome that keeps all of those things safe. And if you lose it, then you kind of automatically have a compromised immune system. That said, I still get over a cold or a flu generally in 12 to 24 hours. So whatever, right? So if I had been treating my gut biome as kindly as I do today, back in 2012, I probably would not have lost my appendix. And I probably would not have ended up in the hospital. And that was a big, giant speed bump in my journey. And I think that anybody who really wants to treat themselves kindly, I'm a space case. I just realized I didn't have my lav mic on me. I'd set it down and I didn't put it back on. So I just been talking to you guys from a distance, huh? Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, the pain was it was a pain. Hey, April, long time no see. Welcome into the group. This is the BroBryceHealth group. Every Saturday, I do a 4 p.m. live keto chat, talking about nutrition, talking about health. And I'm glad to see so many people participating today. Everybody, if you haven't done so already, let us know where on the planet you are located and what stage in your journey are you at? Are you just curious, or have you started an approach of some kind in your life? And I firmly believe that if you want to make a change in your life, you have to decide on a lifestyle change. And I know that everybody says that. It almost sounds cliche. Well, it does sound cliche, but it is the truth. You have to make a decision. You're either going to do it or you're not. And I try to help people as much as I can. And I think that I've succeeded in helping some people, but those people did the work. Those people did the work. So you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. Some people will check in with me and they'll say, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you look at what they're eating in a day and it's like, you could work on this. And they're like, but this is my thing. And okay, well, you're either going to do it or you're not. Okay. But when you do decide that you're going to do it, you're going to experience drastic changes because you did it. For me, a low carb, high fat approach has been very successful I lost 111 pounds. And the biggest thing for me was losing the chronic pain. That was the biggest thing for me. There are other things that are amazing. I've been checking out my vision. I do believe my vision incredibly is improving some, not drastically, mind you, but noticeably. My vision has improved. I feel that my energy levels are more level. I'm able to do things that, dear Lord, I didn't think I was going to do when I'm 47 years old. I'm 47, guys. And, everybody says your metabolism slows down when you get older. I'd kind of like to know when, because my mother-in-law in the other room, we started her on keto a year and a half ago, and she's lost 100 pounds. And now she's doing the bacon experiment with us, and she is losing some more weight. And so I'd like to know when does the metabolism slow down, and why does the metabolism slow down? Most importantly, why? Because for me,
My metabolism is doing great, and I'm 47 years old. Her metabolism, she's 70 years old. It's off like a rocket, as long as she's eating correctly. And it doesn't mean cutting back on calories, because honestly, you don't really have to pay that much attention to calories to experience some dramatic changes in your life. You can get rid of inflammation. You can get rid of your chronic pain. I believe you can reverse your diabetes and your chronic pain symptoms, things like fibromyalgia and a lot of autoimmune disorders, with therapeutic ketosis that is not necessarily focused on weight loss. And the end result will be that you are less hungry because of what you're eating. The things that you're eating make you satisfied and feel great because it tastes good. And you end up eating less because you're full, not because you don't have anything to eat or because you're trying to be restrictive. It's because I'm not hungry. Some of you know that most days I eat once a day, and that's not because I'm trying to starve myself. It's because I'm not desperately hungry. I'm not hungry in the morning, and I'm not hungry that much in the afternoon. So typically I will work my work shift, and either toward the end or after the end of my work shift, I will eat my whole meal for the day, all of my calories for the day. It's not unusual for that to be somewhere around 2,200 to 2,400 calories a day. And on the bacon experiment, however, it's closer to 1,100 to 1,200 calories maybe. But that's not a big deal. Some of you think, oh my gosh, you're starving yourself. Actually, kind of not, because when you're fat adapted, you are also, your body doesn't care if you're eating the fat or if it's eating the fat off of your belly, or in my case, the belly, the neck, the head, the back of the shoulders, all the places that I wanted it to be like the belly. I wanted it to start at the belly, and it kind of didn't happen that way. Welcome, Rochelle Marie Desaulniers. Please let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. If you haven't yet, please let us all know where on the planet that you're located, and we will all send you a big high five to that place. I just got done talking about the books that we're going to be doing a giveaway in about 2 minutes, and I will let you know in about 2 minutes how you can get one of these books. If you are in the USA, I will send this book to you free of charge. But any of you who are interested, if you have questions, specific questions about what it's like to be on low carb, high fat, if you have questions about what a low fat, high carbohydrate diet might do for you, if you have questions regarding your exercise routine and what kind of benefit you may experience from that. Some of you know I lost most of my weight without any measurable exercise. I lost probably about 85 pounds of my weight without any measurable exercise. The most exercise I got was like going to the fridge or, opening up the oven and cooking. That was most of the exercise that I got. I will say it was some exercise involved when I moved 5 times in a year, but that's kind of, side note. That's like a couple weeks or a month at a time. But I didn't have a regular exercise regimen. I ate a lot and I slept a lot, and I watched a lot of TV. And I played with my computer a lot, and I did a lot of video editing during that time. And so exercise was I didn't have a workout routine. In fact, the times when I did go to the gym and work out, I lost no measurable weight, nothing measurable. The times when I did not exercise and I just ate correctly, I experienced weight loss. So But I want to know about your journey, what your journey looks like. Seth, what are you doing currently to try to stave off your chronic pain? I'd be interested to know that. Seth is talking about having some of the same symptoms of chronic pain and what they diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. I don't know what that's going to look like for Seth, but we're ready for a good old-fashioned book giveaway. So again, all you have to do to get one of these books, if you're in the USA, I will send it to you for free. If you're anywhere else, I'm sorry. If you're in the USA, though, I will give you one of these books for free. I have 2 versions of Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It by Gary Taubes. I have the pocket version and the regular paperback. And in the back appendix to this is the his approach to low carb, high fat, and the food lists included. I also include a free copy of the food list that's in here in the pinned post at the top of the BroBryceHealth group. Martin Figueroa. I never figured out how to pronounce your name. Figueroa. Martin, welcome to the group. We're talking about the book giveaway right this second. And if you're welcome, you are welcome to say, all you have to do to get one of these books is say you're interested in the book. If you're interested in the book, I will PM you. And if nobody claims a book by the end of this broadcast, then you can comment on this stream, the replay of this stream within 24 hours of me posting it, and you can get this book. Martin Figueroa, I guess I got it right. Okay. So the pocket edition or the regular paperback of Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It by Gary Taubes. Also, Wheat Belly by William Davis. This book is about why you should not eat grain. And I definitely agree that you should not eat grain. There's lots and lots of facts about grain and what it does to the body and how you should avoid it and what to do to avoid it. William Davis, MD, also is the author of Undoctored, and he is doing a lot of social media stuff on that. He's a good guy to follow, so I would check him out. And check out the Wheat Belly Facebook page. The New Atkins for a New You. If you're interested in any of these books, let me know by saying I'm interested in the book. And if you're in the US, I will definitely send it to you for free. Just say, I am interested in the book. So this last book is The New Atkins for a New You. That is by Eric Westman, MD, Stephen Finney, MD, Jeff Volek, PhD. And all of these guys are absolutely authorities on a ketogenic nutritional approach. So even if you don't want the book, like Google these guys, Eric Westman, Stephen Finney, and Jeff Volek. Google these guys and check them out. They've got tons of videos, tons of seminars and presentations and lectures on ketogenic science. And I encourage you to research that. So any of these 4 books, Why We Get Fat by Gary Taubes, the pocket or the standard paperback, Wheat Belly by William Davis, and The New Atkins for a New You by Eric Westman, Finney, and Volek. Any of those, you just say, I'm interested in the book, and I will send it to you. I will PM you information, and you will PM me information. I will just send it right to you free of charge. That being said, if any of you guys have any, we have last, say, 11 minutes of the program here before we close up, and I'm going to head over to Old Nerd Reviews channel for his live stream on YouTube. And he does not do keto. He just does junk food reviews, and but he's great. So it's a lot of fun. The guys in there have chatted with us. Ricky, welcome to the chat here on BroBryceHealth. We're at the closing 10 minutes of the program. I will be doing another live stream at 4 p.m. Pacific time every Saturday. I'm going to be doing them right here on Facebook Live because it's working better than it did on YouTube. And so I'm going to continue to do it here for a while, at least, until I get a better internet connection, a better outgoing internet connection. It seems that I have a problem with using YouTube, and I have a feeling that's because my internet provider throttles me. So much for net neutrality. Anyway, guys, we are in the last 10 minutes, and if you guys have any check-ins or questions about ketogenic nutrition, low carb, high fat is the approach that I do in this health group, and it is the approach that I have coached people to do. It is the approach that I have used to reverse my obesity, to reverse my chronic pain symptoms, and to try to help people get rid of their diabetes. I've had some friends who have used this approach to completely reverse their diabetes symptoms and get off all medications. My mother-in-law reversed her kidney function, her kidney disease, using a low-carb, high-fat approach. I've drastically reduced my inflammation. My triglyceride to HDL ratio is now below 2 to 1. So that means that I'm basically normal. I have no inflammation markers. And both of my cardiologists said that my CHAD scores and my cholesterol markers are no indication of risk factors for pretty much anything. I do have AFib, which I would love to reverse somehow, but evidently there's nothing good or bad that I could do to affect that. I didn't cause it, and I can't necessarily cure it, but trying over time to reduce the symptoms of it and recognize what triggers it. Anyway, any of you guys want to chime in on your spot right now in your health journey and what you would like to do about it? And that is really what this is about. It's about check-ins. It's about being accountable to each other. It's about talking about our health and what we're suffering from, and getting feedback on it. So that is what I'm here for. Every Saturday, 4 p.m., that's what I'm here for. I'm really, really blessed that I've had so many people come into the room today. Becky Mahoney came in, Jim Drew. Jim Drew's asking, so what are your go-to foods? Well, right now, I'm doing the bacon experiment, so pork. And honestly, one of the questions that they asked me last night was, if you could choose one thing to do differently in the beginning of your journey, what would it have been? And I think that would have been to eat more pork chops, because pork chops are an incredibly bioavailable source of protein and fat. Cooked correctly and not at too high a temperature to where it oxidizes anything, causes, even bacon with all of its nitrates, it doesn't turn into carcinogenic nitrosamines until you cook it over 350 degrees. So as long as you're cooking it to your own satisfactory, crispy condition under the temperature of 350 degrees, you're probably fine. And there's more nitrates in spinach than there is in bacon. So bacon, I don't put any restrictions on people eating eggs. You can eat as many eggs as you want. It's perfectly balanced protein and fat. I love ribeye steak. Can't afford it most of the time, but I love a ribeye steak. Last time I was in Portland, and they had a ribeye steak up in Outback. I love their blue cheese dressing, which is amazing. It's like a homemade blue cheese dressing. It's ridiculous and crazy. But a ribeye steak, and they had a 20-ounce ribeye steak. And I was like, you have a 20-ounce ribeye steak? First off, what kind of cow did that come off of? Secondly, a 20-ounce ribeye steak. Well, that's the one I'm going for. So she says, well, that's great, man. Leftovers are always good. And I said, honey, I didn't say nothing about leftovers. And I sat down with a big plate of broccoli and a big plate of ribeye steak and a couple of those little ramekins of blue cheese dressing. And I downed the whole thing, and I walk out of there like, take on the day. And other people who eat bread will walk out of there and they feel like loaded down by the starches, and they have that sugar crash because because whole grain bread often turns to sugar in your blood faster than table sugar does. So you have that sugar crash by the end of your meal, and you think it's because of all that fat, all that lardy fat just congealing in your skull. It's just not what's happening. Because honestly, if you were eating correctly, then all that fat would be turning to ketones in your brain, and you would be laser focused and ready to take on the day, like I am. My go-to foods are, I love fried chicken. I love pork. I eat a lot of bacon. I eat a lot of eggs. I eat very sharp cheeses. I eat cream cheese a lot. I take fathead dough. If you Google that, fathead dough, it's incredible. It's from the Fathead movie site. And that recipe has been turned into so many different things. I make fathead chalupas. I make fathead pizzas. I made fathead sugar cookies. Just sprinkle erythritol on it. It's amazing. So there's those things. I have a few recipes for ketogenic muffins that are made with almond flour. I made some things with coconut flour, almond flour. I would say I recommend fish to people who like fish. If you like fish, fish is great, man. It's a great source of fat. It'll help with your omega-6 to 3 ratio. That's another thing I will tell Seth, if you're still here. Seth, if you focus on getting your omega-6 to 3 ratio closer to 1-to-1, then you're going to find that your inflammation is going to be reduced by that as well. Anthony Nelson, who I believe I met in the film group, the Portland film group, the meetup thing. Anyway, if any of you guys have not done so, please let me know where you are located, and we will send a big internet high five over in your direction of the planet. Anyway, we are coming up on the last 3 minutes of the broadcast. I will be doing another one of these every Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Pacific Daylight Savings Time. Or I don't even know which one it is right now, but Pacific Time. I will be doing one every Saturday at 4 p.m. I may be doing it on YouTube, but for the most part, this week and several weeks hereafter, I will be doing it right here on Facebook because it's just easier and smoother. It just goes smoother. I want to get that chat window over here working correctly so that you guys, I want to be able to record the chat. I believe I'm going to have to stream it back and record it somehow to get it in here for the YouTube playback. I know Facebook stores the chat, so you guys will see it after the fact. But I'm trying to record it as well for the YouTube crowd so I can replay this video on YouTube and allow other people to partake in the giveaway for the book too. Jim Drew says, so when I was programming 20 plus hours a day, I remember that, I switched to diet soda, 2 cases a day. Found that I finally stopped doing that and switched to salads with chicken. Went from 234 to 167. Over the last few years, I went back to drinking soda and eating junk, and the weight came back. So I'm going back to the other direction. Must be a God thing, because I so happen to find your live broadcast today, and it confirms my belief. I think that salads are amazing. I think that upping your fat ratio, getting rid of the sodas is great. Diet sodas are not good for you. I do have one particular vice, and that is Diet Rock Stars, and I try not to partake in them ever, but every once in a while I'll buy 1 or 2 and I'll drink them maybe once or twice a week on the outside. But there are many times that I go months without drinking any kind of diet soda. I don't think that diet sodas are good for you. I think that having these things in your house is like a health hazard. It's like living with a health hazard. And I would recommend that if you do have these things, don't have them in your house. Don't buy a case of them and keep it in your house. Go out, buy one that makes it inconvenient. It's like people that would bum a smoke off someone else, or buy a smoke one at a time from a bar instead of buying a pack of smokes and having them on them. It's that sort of thing. And if you're going to do those things, don't have it in the house. And a big thing to changing your life in your house is not having these things that you know are bad for you. Now, a lot of diet sodas have citric acid and sodium benzoate in them. So, Jim, you're really smart. I know you're like super smart. So what does sodium benzoate do when it comes in contact with citric acid or ascorbic acid or vitamin C? What happens when sodium benzoate comes in contact with one of those things? Now, most sodas have sodium benzoate, and most of them have, and sodium benzoate is used as a preservative and a stabilizer in soda pops. And most of them have citric acid to give you that tart flavor. When those two things come in contact and they remain in contact, high concentrations of benzene, a known carcinogen and inflammatory factor, inhabits those cans a lot. So don't minimize it. Also, a lot of sugar-free products have sodium benzoate in them because a lot of them are made from more natural products, and more natural products actually break down. So just adding BHT to it is probably not enough. They had sodium benzoate to it. So like, for instance, those aloe vera drinks that you see, the jugs that don't have anything but aloe vera in them and sodium benzoate. Okay, if you eat berries or anything like that, Good one, Jim. He says, I figure at my age, I need all the preservatives I can get. You know, back in the day, I used to say, I'm just going to eat a Twinkie when I'm on my deathbed, and then I'll just last forever. See? Because Twinkies never go bad. It's terrifying what happens to Twinkies. Nothing happens to Twinkies. Just like Golden Soft. Nothing happens to Golden Soft. Get rid of those refined vegetable oils. Eat stuff that breaks down. Eat stuff that spoils. Anyway, it's 5:02. It's time to end the broadcast. I've gone a little long, and I mean to get over to the Old Nerd Reviews channel. But you guys, feel free to add me as a friend. Feel free to PM me any kind of questions that you have throughout the week. And if you would like to have a more long-winded video-y kind of answer, please make sure that you let me know that you would like it to be answered on next week's Saturday 4 p.m. live keto chat. I will be right here and chatting with you guys. And love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. It's really a blessing to have gotten so many people to participate today. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And with that, I will leave you with some more of Glenn Case's delightful music. If I can get it working here. Hey, I know it's fun, right? And here we go. I think. Be sure to check out Glenn Case at glenncase.com, and we will see you next week at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I will be right here live again, and we'll see you again next time.
Some say they have seen a gigantic living being. Several stories high.